But that was just so funny. And it was one of my, kind of one of my favorite trips just because it was so funny.
So chaotic.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, Utah, when would I ever have an opportunity or the need to go to Utah again? Other than queer things, you know.
Yep.
But I mean, it was like when I was Empress, like I said, I went to Denver. Because I grew up when I grew up, I had this image of Denver from the show Dynasty. So I expected it to be all rich and glamorous. And, you know, I expected to see all of those people with their giant shoulder pads and their hair. And their, you know, and their burnt champagne and what have you. And
it wasn't?
No, because that is in, wait, they're not in Denver. Where are they? Who cares? Boulder. There's somewhere where it's like higher elevation and it's beautiful and whatever. I was in Denver, staying at the airport Sheraton or whatever, which overlooks the train tracks and the airport and the whatever. It was like, I have just come to the most
beautiful place in the world.
Like, it just looked so industrial.
This seems holy.
But my favorite part of Denver really was the fact that no matter what you said or did, everybody's like, you know, it's the elevation.
Yeah.
Because when I first got there, I'm like, I feel kind of weird. And someone's like, oh, it's the elevation. Because you're not used to it. Because it's the Mile High City.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever. And then I heard throughout the day, God, I got so drunk last night. Oh, it's the elevation.
Yeah.
I, you know, did... And I swear to God, you could have said, I murdered my husband last night. Oh, it's the elevation. Don't even worry about it. Things happen here. Don't you even worry about it, girl.
Embezzled money and burned down a nursery. Elevation, girl.
Elevation. You could not have controlled yourself. It was the elevation. It got over you.
Lightheadedness does that to the best of us.
I think one of the strangest things, though, that happened to me there, and I know I told you about this, is one of my friends who was the Empress of Denver was she also had a production company that produced adult films.
Ooh.
Yes, adult queer films. And she's like, so who are you traveling with? And I was like, oh, I'm by myself. And she's like, you came here by yourself? And I go, yeah, I'm, you know, all grown up girl. I can travel all by myself now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 28 years old. That tells you how long ago that was. And she was like, well, would you like me to send someone to your room? And at first I was like, did she mean something? Like, do you want some snacks or drink? Because I'm food. You can send me some food to my room. That'd be good. And she was like, no, do you want me to send one of my boys from my stable?
Excuse me, ma'am?
And I'm like, are you asking me if I want you to send a porn star to my room? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like,
NBD,
no.
Stupid.
First of all...
Are you new here?
First of all, I'm married. But second of all... No!
I've never done this before.
I mean, oh my God. But it was like, really what I was thinking is, these boys have sex for a living with other people who look like them, all perfect and whatever. And here I am, this fat chick.
But here's the thing.
I was like, no.
Coin girl. Sex work is work, girl.
Well, no, I have no issue with that. I thought they would come into my room and be like, really, I hope I'm getting paid big bucks to have sex with this one. You know, because... and now, of course, you know, years later, and again, as we talked last week, mental health, after I really, truly started loving myself, I'd have been all, you lucky to have me.
Bitch.
But at that point in my life, I was all, no. Thank you, no.
Nope.
Now, if you want to send a pound cake to my room, I will be all over that.
And I mean the person, not the stripper. Thank you so much. I get that.
I just want some food. But, no, that was funny to me. And
I love that.
One of the people I met while I was there was this other queen who, out of drag, was this total bush-looking dude, right? But in drag, gorgeous. Yeah. And I was like, how? Whatever.
¿Por qué?
And he worked for a living as a phone sex operator. Oh. And I was like, well, that would be a fun job.
Right.
Or would it? Because, I mean, it'd probably get very taxing and old.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, yeah, I work as a man and as a woman on the phone sex line. And I was like... wait, what? Because he did not sound at all feminine. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I do both, but I just changed my voice. And I'm like, I'm picturing him to go, hello. Do you want to have this
stop? It's like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right?
I hate it.
So the next morning, my phone rings, and I was like, who's calling my hotel room? Because the only person that I would think would be calling me is my husband, whatever. And this very sexy, breathy woman calling me. I was like, what the hell?
Bitch, you got the wrong room.
And then he started laughing, and it was the guy that I met who did the phone. I was like, that is convincing.
Yeah, you did.
You are good.
Lady, you're killing it.
I would pay for that service if that's what I was into, but
sure,
that was very convincing. So I started once he started laughing, and then I was like, okay, I get it now, and I bet you do make the big bucks.
Yeah, girl.
So, because
what year was it? 1902?
1902. No, phones had just been invented, so...
Was it just like a cup on a string?
No, I'm sorry, but they had moved to the tin can on the string by now. They'd gone past the cup.
You have grown up in some advanced times,
I have. But nobody had cell phones then, because it was 1990.
Ew.
I know. But, so they called me on a real landline that you had to,
It's not real.
Punch buttons on. But it was past dial phones, so I guess that's one step
Oh my god.
So
moving on up.
Whatever. You know what? We're going to take a break.
Bye.
And we're
back. There's a lot of places that I've traveled. Because before I don't know, was 20, I had never been anywhere other than like Washington, Oregon, Idaho, in California. That was it.
Yeah.
And then within 10 years, I went rapidly. I went to like New York, Georgia, the Carolinas, Arizona, where else? Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, Montana. And, like, none of them were very exciting, but a lot of it I did it with, like, because family was there, whatever. But none of these places, most of the places I've traveled, I feel like I don't super fit in. You know what I mean? I'm, like, 6 foot a million, so I walk in anywhere and people are like, where you been, alien? And, except New York. New York made sense.
Yeah.
I got asked if I was a working girl, though, which is, like... I was...
Do I have a job? Yes, I do.
I was underage and very sleep deprived because I went to New York for like 23 hours. So I flew in, was there for a short time, and flew back home. And so Not
to interrupt your story, but I remember that so well because you called me and you're like, bitch, I'm in New York. And you're like, yeah, you lie. And you're like, no, call this number. This is my hotel. So I called your hotel room number and sure as shit, she was in New York.
Girl, it was just a short little turnabout. But it was chaotic. And I had lived in San Francisco, and I remember hating New York when I got there, because I was like, ugh, it's just like a done-up San Francisco. That's how I felt about it. It was just like San Francisco in drag, right? Like, it was just like bigger.
Isn't San Francisco in drag?
That's what I thought, right? But then New York was like lights and sounds, and everything's moving, and there's people everywhere, and it's nonstop. And like, that was cool. New York was cool, I guess, but I was like, I had no time to stop and process it, because if I had stopped and processed why I was there and how I got there and how I was like broke and alone, I would have spun out of control. But that was an experience. And again, there for 23 hours, I flew back to San Francisco on a straight shot. I checked out of the airport, checked back in, and then flew to San Diego for like 2 weeks for vacation. It was just like such a whirlwind, chaotic time. But I was young and stupid, and I was like, yeah, you want me to do what? Here I come. But yeah, it was...
But isn't that the time to do that when you're young and stupid and you don't really have anything that you have to do?
Yeah, it was chaos, though. I remember being like, hey, work, I can't come in, so can someone take my shift? And being like, I don't have enough money, and like figuring it out to make it all work, and it was just... And now I think about that and I think, ugh, God, that makes me want to vomit. Because no, man, my anxiety would shoot the roof. I would have a panic attack in the middle of the airport. They'd have to just like put me down probably because I couldn't do it. But I mean, and going to Arizona, I was in a small town because we went to like Grand Canyon.
Sure.
And so nothing surrounding the Grand Canyon is large, other than the canyon itself. But I went with my ex, who was kind of like, I told you, he was kind of like a good old boy, proud boy, and it was annoying. I'm not proud of these moments. I was drunk most of my life. But also, like...
But you had a perfect thing. You were at the canyon. You could have just shoved him in.
I know. And let me tell you, I went in January. And so when you stand looking at the Grand Canyon, you're all, oh, beautiful, majestic, spiritual. And then that fucking wind hits you. And my skeleton jumped right out of my body. Because let me tell you what, I was wearing, like, layers and hoodies with jackets and 2 beanies and glasses and gloves and all the things. And I was still like chattering, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's so beautiful!" And literally, I'm like crying, and my tears are freezing. My dogs are frozen in place. It was like such a bad time.
Poor
for me.
Belly.
And I was like, "How beautiful!" But also, I fucking hate it here. But yeah, so just chaotic.
We really need to have merch for you that just says, "I hate it here."
I hate it here. I would love that.
We're going to say, "I'm going to burn your church down."
I am going to...
So when we do official merch, the Attica merch will say, "I hate it here."
I hate it here. And also, I mean, I ask frequently, how much time in prison do you think I'll get for arson? And people are like, that depends on if you get caught. It's accurate.
That is accurate.
I'm not going to test it, you guys. It's just like, I could... Let me live.
That's funny. I was telling a story about arson just yesterday.
Oh my god, see?
When I was talking to my my good Judy Alicia. Because when I went to beauty school, the school, and it was in a strip mall.
You burned it
beauty
down?
School. I did not burn it down.
Oh.
But some crazy beezy who was a serial arsonist, it was her mental illness.
Okay.
She liked to watch it burn.
Oh.
She set fire to the building where my beauty school was
prior
to me being there. And there was some kind of nightclub at the other end, and then there was something else, and then there was the beauty school.
Yeah.
But yeah, some crazy... But she didn't do any prison time. Why? Because her parents were very wealthy and used to buying people off.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I know that's way off topic, but...
Yeah.
You know what, I've only been to New York one time, and mine was also very whirlwindish. We had gone to...
But you enjoyed your experience more, yeah?
I did. I loved it. Because mine was very planned out. Because we were going to...
Must be nice to be an adult. Okay.
Right. Well, I also had months to plan it out. Because we were going to Massachusetts to visit some friends.
Right.
East Hampton, Massachusetts.
Oh my god, my favorite place.
It's a teeny little town, but it's lovely and whatever. It's a college town. Smith College is there. It's a college for women. Anyway, so we were going there to visit friends, and when as I have frequently admitted, geography, no, not my thing.
Geography?
But when I realized that New York City was a 3-hour train ride from where we're going to be, I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I have to go see a Broadway show.
Yep.
I have to do the things. And so we did, and my husband did not love it because it's very loud, as you know. It's loud, it smells, it's busy. Total sensory overload. And he hated it.
That's the worst to me, the smell. Because did you go in the summer?
Yeah.
Because I went in July, yeah.
Well, September. So, okay. But it still felt like
So
summer.
I went in July. It smelled just like piss.
Yeah, it smells like a big urinal
garbage. I hated every minute of it, yeah.
Yeah, but but we went in and we hopped the train because we were like,
because you're cool kids.
Yeah, we didn't buy tickets. No, I'm just kidding. It was my first time on a train, other than the one at the zoo, but that doesn't count, and the Max train. But rode a train into the city. I felt very sophisticated. Got into the train station, and then went upstairs, and I'm like, wow, we were right underneath Rockefeller.
Oh.
Not Rockefeller. No, wait.
Okay.
That's not right.
She lied.
Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And I was like, what? We just came out from underneath Madison Square Garden. How fancy. But everything is right there on top of everything else. Because we're in the middle of everything right there with Times Square and all of that. This is going to sound silly, but my favorite part, other than the play, because we went to see The Color Purple, it was amazing. I loved it. I wept. It was fantastic. It completed my life. But as we were sitting on the street having our lunch before the show started, these two women are coming down the street, and I love accents. I don't care where they're from. I like accents.
Yeah.
This woman who clearly was either from Long Island or Jersey, I'm not sure. She's coming down the street, and people from Long Island tend to talk kind of loudly.
No.
Yeah, tend to. And she's talking to her friend about how her fiance ruined the photo shoot for their engagement.
Okay.
And this story right here is going to have several expletives in it.
Oh my god.
But she was like, I couldn't believe it. He had this... I sounded Australian suddenly. He just had this fucking smile on his fucking face the whole fucking time, every time. I was like, oh my god. And she's just screaming. It's like, every smile, he has that stupid fucking I was like, I'm